Back on Inside Tennessee, John North, and our guest this morning, former Mayor Mike Ragsdale. Don Bosch.
So, Mike, the time when you were our leader for the county was quite different than the structure and the relationships we see now. When you were mayor, we had 19 county commissioners.
Yes.
It was safe to say that your relationship with Sheriff Hutchison was not always the best.
I think that's a fair assessment.
To say the least. That sometimes the relationship between county and city it wasn't the strongest and the best, and now we see a much better scenario. What do you think caused the biggest cause for the shift in everybody playing a little nicer these days? Because I'm sure you look back and go, why couldn't it have been like that when I was there?
Well, you know, I got along great with Sheriff Jones, and I respect Sheriff Hutchison, but J.J. Jones and I had a wonderful relationship and enjoyed working with him. When I first started my term, I was associated with Mayor Ash, Victor Ash, and Victor and I are still good friends to this day. I enjoyed working with him. But I think things started to change in a very positive way when Bill Haslam came on board. So our terms overlapped a great deal. Bill and I got along great. We visited almost on a daily basis. We had similar priorities. We didn't care who got the credit for initiatives, and it worked quite well. We started the Knox Achieves program together along with Randy Boyd and Rich Ray and Tim Williams, and funded it with private sector money. And when Bill became governor, he had the great idea. It started as Knox Achieves and went to Tennessee Achieves, and now Tennessee Promise. And I think it's an initiative that people all over the country are looking for. So hopefully the way we got along contributed to that. And it was a pleasure to work with.
What do you think the change from 19 to 11 county commissioners has done? Better or worse?
Better. And
that was quick.
And I was a county commissioner when there was 19, and I was elected the first time in 1990, along with Madeline O'Hara, who also became mayor of the city of Knoxville. And at the time, I didn't think 19 was bad, but we had a time during the term limits situation where we were down to 11. I was mentioning to John earlier how well that worked. And I think it works really well today.
I just want to say, and then Eddie's going to ask a question. I came here in '93. I thought this place was the Wild West back then. And you were right in the middle of all of that. I was like, wow, this is what county government is like. It's very entertaining. I think we sold a lot more newspapers back then when I was at the News Sentinel than today.
I think everybody sold a lot more newspapers back then.
But not just that, but because of some of the highly entertaining stories that we had to offer.
I had the opportunity to serve with some interesting folks, and I was probably one of those interesting folks.
You were?
And it was, but I enjoyed that situation very much.
And you know, Mayor, we talked about in the first segment about the ballooning debt, you know, that is being serviced. But go back to the time you were in office with Governor Haslam, then Mayor Haslam, even Mayor O'Hara to Tim Burchett, you know, when he was mayor, to what we've got now. There's been new community investment. The downtown district, people actually are downtown now spending money. You know, there's been a lot of things that have helped bring new revenue in that's helping us keep that debt service at about 8.5% and not ballooning up to the 20%.
You know, you have to invest in infrastructure. And the projects that I talked about at the beginning of the show, I don't think any of those projects you would say, hey, we really don't need that. Let's pull that back. Let's sell that. All of those were great projects. And if you're going to have a great community like you're talking about, you're going to have to invest in infrastructure, but you're also going to have to invest in your employees. And so I think that's the challenge. How do you fund your critical services appropriately, and how do you still invest in infrastructure? Because Knox County is a growing place, and the housing crisis is out there, and there's always challenges that you have to address. And I really applaud Mayor Ken Cannon and Mayor Jacobs for taking a strong role in addressing some of those.
We've talked a lot about growth, Mayor, in recent years, and we just saw Advance Knox make one more big hurdle with County Commission. What do you make looking outside in on the debate and the conversation about how to expand growth in a manageable way in this county?
It's always an infrastructure challenge, and it begins typically with the roads. Roads can handle the traffic, and then you have school children that you want to deal with, and then we have our senior citizens and our veterans who are here. But with all the challenges that we have, I think most of us would agree that Knoxville and Knox County and all of East Tennessee is a fabulous place to live. You don't see a whole lot of people leaving, you see a whole lot of people coming here. And there's a reason for that. You've got a healthy tax structure, it's a safe place, the schools are good, quality of life is amazing, and I think that's going to continue for a while.
And you know, we talk about infrastructure. It's not just roads. I mean, roads are important, but you have to move utilities, power. And then for the development, we've got to have the sewer system. And if we're not building that sewer system out, then you're limited in how many houses you can actually put in areas, which is what was causing a lot of the sprawl. So,
and services.
And
you've got to have police, fire, ambulance, you know, maintenance.
You're 100% right.
And that's where Advanced Knox really was trying to help fix that, which is here's where we're going to grow so that infrastructure can keep up rather than the sprawl that we were seeing of just everybody going everywhere in the county.
Exactly. And we've always had a challenge with where do you put the infrastructure. Does it go in first, or does the development go in and we try and improve things? But we've done an okay job of managing that, and I think we'll continue to.
We're going to take another quick break on Inside Tennessee. A little bit more perspective from this former mayor with our panel right after this.
If we have time, I'm working